Okay, so I'm making this video today to talk about fighting diet. So, like, diet for fighters that are trying to uh, have a successful weight cut during their fight camps. Um, it's not an end all be all diet. It's not something that I'm sitting here saying that it would work for everybody. Everybody's body's different. Everybody needs certain things nutritionally during the day. That's different than somebody else, and I've always gauged it off of each individual client. But this is like a method that has worked has had a good track record with a lot of the people that I've recommended it to. So, including myself, anything that I talk about, post about, or recommend to people, I've done myself, done the research and experimented with it in the past. So this isn't just coming blind. I've also done this good majority of this method minus the ending water cut or water loading and water dieting with most of my clients. So let's get into this a little bit more. Talk about my background since I don't really make many videos, kind of camera shy, so bear with me. But I've been a personal trainer and nutritionist for about 7 years. I have certifications from ISSA in personal training, nutrition, and strength and conditioning. I have trained, I mean, variety of people from hardcore athletes that want to, be professional in whatever they're doing to just normal lifestyle clients that want to get healthy and stay in shape. I worked at LA Fitness as a master trainer, and I've done private training for years and years. I'd definitely say that my specialty or the clients that I focus on the most are athletes. I was an athlete for my entire life, active. Took pretty much everything I did seriously in the athletic department. Didn't really get into the, health, nutritional side of things until I was about 16. And then I started to realize that what I put in my body is what I'm going to, how I'm going to perform. So if I'm eating, fast food and junk, that my body's not going to perform well as well as if I'm eating, nutritious whole food. That so I mean that's my opinion on nutritional food and how it compares to not very nutritional food. You could have a genetic gift that allows you to eat that, but my opinion goes is that eventually, that'll catch up with you. And I think that those people that are genetically gifted, if they maybe did whole nutritious food, they could take, whatever skill set they're doing or whatever activity they're doing to an entirely different level because they're actually putting solid, whole nutritious food in their body that will benefit them in the long run and make them at the top of whatever field they're in. I mean, it doesn't just go for athletes, it goes for everybody in life. I mean, you want your physical and mental health to be at their peak, then you should consider, thinking about what you're putting in your body and the type of attitude you have every single day. I'm a pretty real person, and I tell my clients this constantly that, what you put in your body is really important and your outlook on life is really important. So let's get to kind of the nutritional side of things. So in this, I'm kind of going to talk about a bunch of different things. The first thing I kind of wanted to talk about is the importance of dieting on your body. So, I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit, but the importance of dieting to me personally, this is my opinion, is, and I can't be a hypocrite and say that I haven't, had my fair share of fast food, junk food, and, done what I'm not supposed to because I have bad habit, things that I shouldn't be doing. But my outlook on it is there's two outlooks to it is, especially from this video being from a fighter's standpoint, if you're a fighter and you want to make it, professional, make money, do whatever you want to do with the sport itself or the combat sport itself, you got two kind of avenues you can go here. I mean, you could stay average, win some fights, lose some fights, don't, kind of mediocrely eat, good here and there, and then eat some junk here and there, like rely on genetics and athletic ability, see how far that gets you. Or you could take it the other avenue, which is have a championship mindset, eating whole nutritious food, having a good structured plan in place for each camp that you're doing, like doing your research, listening to your body. Like if you don't do that stuff, I mean, you really only have two ways to do it. And I'm pretty sure that most fighters and most people that are getting in or that are in this or have been in this for a long time or just now getting into this, like me, who've only been doing, martial arts for a year, kind of want to take the championship mindset and the championship avenue, not the just average Joe, win some, lose some attitude. So, I mean, this is kind of like, not really a spiel about what, about what avenue you should be taking in a motivational speech. It's more of like, you need to, with nutrition, you either do it this way or you do it this way. If you want to see results that are mediocre, you do it that way. If you want to see results that, can produce success and, or whatever you measure success, or, have a championship, like fight camp just in general, or, whatever it may be, fight or training, a good off season, whatever it is, you should probably take the whole food, nutritious, healthy lifestyle. I'm not saying that eating a cheeseburger, here and there is something that you shouldn't be doing, but, eating one every day, or, indulging yourself in Oreo cookies or whatever it may be is not something that like I would recommend to just a normal person, or, a fighter that's trying to make it big and make money and do what they need to do. Here and there is okay, but don't make it an everyday occurrence. So that's kind of my spiel on, the importance of dieting. Don't really want to go into, the anatomy and whatnot on why it's important. I mean, everybody knows why it's important on your body. It helps with organ functions, different aspects in your body. When you go get your blood checked, your cholesterol levels, your hormone levels, whatever it may be, there's a long list of things that I could say about how it affects your body, changing from eating junk to eating whole food, whole nutritious food. But everybody kind of gets a picture about that one. So now I'll kind of move into like how to outline a diet, like as a fighter and in a fight camp. So like, let's say that, you got a call and you have a fight in 10 weeks. Well, we'll use 10 weeks as like the outline for, I've heard fight camps going 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 8 weeks, but let's use 10. Let's just say it's 10 weeks as the kind of for the example for the whole entire video here. So my thing is meal timing is important. So when you're outlining a diet for a fight camp, I kind of go off of, your three main macronutrients, which is protein, carbohydrate, and fat. So they all play a different role throughout the day and how they work. And honestly, like the question that I get all the time from people is, well, how do I know, when I'm supposed to be eating them during the day? There are optimal times to be eating certain macros during the day, but you're not going to know unless you kind of experiment with them yourself, because from a personal standpoint, like there's certain macros that I can't eat too much of before I go work out or do, a sparring session or something. Like protein, for example, like I can't eat protein or a high amount of protein before I go into a sparring session or I go to the gym and do a strength and conditioning workout. It caused me a lot of gastrointestinal problems. So, that's just me. So that's kind of something that you have to figure or go off of feel. But there are optimal time periods that you should be eating food or the certain macros during the day. So, I mean, I guess what I'll do is I have a little board here. So I'll start with, it's kind of hard to see with the lighting. So we'll start with protein, which is right here. Not good with this video stuff yet. Protein. So it says here, every meal you should be eating protein. I always say 1 gram to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. I mean, that kind of goes off of what you can eat during the daytime. I don't have like a specific like calculator to tell you what your body specifically should be doing, because that's you go off of how you feel, how much you can actually eat in the daytime. But you should be having protein pretty much every meal. Every 2 to 3 I always say every 2 to 3 hours, which is kind of how you should be eating every meal in the first place. Every 2 to 3 hours you should be putting something in your body. And then I said lighter amount before workout if causes digestion problems. So I mean, that's kind of a personal like thing. If you can eat your full amount of protein that you eat in every other meal, that you portion out or you kind of chop up, to meet that macro for the day. Like let's say it's 150 grams and you have 6 meals in the day. So you divide the 150 by the 6 meals. Let's say that you can do all of that, throughout the whole day, all 6 meals, and divide it, and you don't have a problem before you go into a workout eating the normal amount of protein that you eat, doing during or throughout the day. So, I mean, that's something that you can decide, kind of off of feel. And then the next one is probably the most debated macronutrient that I've, when I have discussions with people about it, this is the most debated macronutrient in my opinion. And it's carbs, right there. Yeah. So carbohydrate source. So the timing for that, for a fighter's diet. So for somebody that, is fighting and it's a fight camp, I personally, with the people that I've talked to and helped outline dieting programs and whatever that may be, I personally say you want to eat carbohydrates during your breakfast, carbohydrates during pre-workout, for energy, carbohydrates for post-workout, and before bed. And people always say, oh man, carbs before bed. Well, take into consideration you're fasted while you're sleeping, ideally for 8 hours. So you kind of want to get each macro into your body because you're not eating any food. So if you have you're eating the right whole nutritious food, putting it in your body before you go to bed, that will aid in recovery while you're sleeping. It'll also keep food in your body while you're sleeping, even though carbs are the fastest digesting out of all of these. Fat will help carry these macros longer in your body while you're sleeping, ideally. So, and then with this, I get a lot of controversy about carbs sometimes too in my diets. So like, this is more like, because I said we're using a 10-week, example. This here, the breakfast, pre-workout, post-workout, before bed, I generally say is the first 6 weeks of training. So this is like establishing a maintenance amount of carbs for 6 weeks of the 10 to kind of, keep your energy levels up, making sure, you're able to function correctly, your recovery is good. And this goes off of your feeling. So like, I'll use the example of Mahila, my fiance. So what I do with her is it took, we got a fight. The last fight, we knew 3 months in advance. So 12 weeks out. So we used 10 weeks as the marker for training and for nutrition. So I kind of established what, within the first 2 weeks, I kind of established what her maintenance carbohydrate should be for the first 6 weeks of training, because to keep her energy levels high and to make sure that she can, recover properly and get through all of the workouts and everything that she was doing without dragging and having the ketosis feeling that you get when you're low in carbohydrate, kind of the keto flu. So the first 6 weeks, we established 100 grams of carbs was And this went off of her feeling. This isn't me telling her, I said, try 150 today and see how you feel. Well, she came home. I feel sluggish. I think this is too much for the day. Okay, well, then let's move it down to 125. We'll see how you feel there. Comes home, still a little bit sluggish. A little bit better, but I think that's just still too much. Okay, well, let's do 100 grams of carbs. Okay, comes home, tells me, okay, that was good amount. My body felt good today. I thought that I was able to, energy-wise recover correctly, have the right amount of energy to get through my training sessions today. Let's just keep that as the maintenance amount of carbs. So for the first 6 weeks, we keep one carbohydrate count as a maintenance. You don't, for me, you don't change it just because you want to be training, yes, your training's going to pick up. And maybe you want to add a little bit more carbs into the diet, but you're not, but it's not that. So like your training through the first 6 weeks is going to be hard no matter what. So having that maintenance amount of carbs in your diet knows exactly what you're supposed to be eating and how much during the day. And that no matter what, that is going to be for you personally and the feeling in your body, you're going to know that that's going to get you through the workout. Whether I amp the workout up or not, it's still gonna, make it so that you're able to get through the training for the day and still feel good at the end of the day. So this is more of like a keep it at one number for the first 6 weeks. And then I'll explain more at the end of the video, kind of like what happens the last 4 weeks. So that's like the most important part of the entire method that I use for a lot of the fighters and whatnot is how to kind of change the program the last 4 weeks. And this is where I get into a little bit of debate with people that cut weight, because it's a different approach than what most people, or what a traditional person does to cut weight. So I get a little bit of backlash for it, but I think it's worked, and it's worked well for everybody that I've helped with put it on. So yeah, that's carbs. Okay, and then below this is your fat source. So fat, to me, fat's the slowest digesting macronutrient in your body. When it comes to timing, I say breakfast. I put fat in my breakfast. So usually my fat for breakfast, I usually have a shake in the morning that's packed filled with a bunch of different stuff. But I use almond butter, raw almond butter, in my shake. And breakfast has been shown a lot of the time for your cognitive function to help you throughout the day. Right, starting the day is good. And then with these programs for the fighters and whatnot, I put on here meals without carbs. That's kind of in the way, but meals without carbs. So like using Mihaela as an example still, the meals without carbs, there are certain meals. So like I said with the carbs, breakfast, pre-workout, post-workout, and before bed. So like there are meals in between breakfast. So, that's breakfast, pre-workout, post-workout, before bed. That's 4 of the 6 meals. There are still 2 meals in the day in between these meals that I don't have carbohydrate in. So the majority of these meals will be a protein source, a little bit of fat, and green vegetables. That's generally how I do, the in-between meals. You want to still get in your fat, and still, reach your macronutrient, count that you need for the day. So I put those in between those meals so that you're getting that nutrient in your body so that you're not lacking fat in your diet. And then I put before bed, and that's, I like putting fat in the diet before bed, or eating a little bit of fat, like almonds or more almond butter or whatever it is before bed, because it's the slowest digesting slowest digesting macro. So what it does is when you eat the meal, it'll keep it in your body longer while you're sleeping. So you get that 8 hours of sleep, or 7 or 6 or whatever it is. It holds it in your body while you're sleeping, so that your metabolism is still going, while you're sleeping. So, I mean, that's how I view it. But I mean, everybody has their own opinion on how to do, or on timing, kind of how these diet, or how a diet works. This is just kind of how I do it. It's not. I'm not being very specific, but I mean, this is kind of broad. But I mean, like, this is sort of how I view, outlining diets. And then on here, I also put, make sure you eat every 2 to 3 hours. That's people debate on that one all the time. They say, well, I don't want to get fat. Well, that is not going to make you fat. Eating every 2 to 3 hours speeds up your metabolism, which then in turn helps you burn more calories, and then, helps keep your metabolism going throughout the day. And it's very important to eat, every 2 to 3 hours. You don't have to eat giant, power lifter, strongman, bodybuilder meals, but like eat every 2 to 3 hours, whatever you set as your dieting, like, parameter, your macro count for the day. I mean, smaller meals, medium-sized meals, whatever it may be, but you should be eating every 2 to 3 hours. And then I put on here, pay attention to how your body feels. You should always pay attention to how you're feeling after you eat a meal. The most common complaint I get is digestion problems, and that's generally what you're going to get if you know that your body's not settling well with eating something. And that is basically, in my opinion, just your body telling you that you need to switch something around, eat a different food. So, I mean, like, let's say you're eating white rice and your body just does not want to it does not want to digest it. It just makes your stomach hurt, and it's just not something that works for you. It puts on extra water weight and makes you bloat, whatever it may be, whatever the circumstance. I always suggested to clients to switch whatever source that they're eating. So, like, try sweet potato. See if that helps you. See if that makes it feel better. Try quinoa. I mean, a lot of my clients switching to sweet potato or quinoa has really helped them in the carb sources. The same goes with protein, and the same goes with fat. If almond butter doesn't settle well with you, try, coconut oil, like, while you're cooking your food. That's some fat. Olive oil while you're cooking your food. Avocado, whatever it may be. You should switch your food or switch where you're eating it in the diet to kind of, like, tell yourself, or kind of help your body, like, not be stressed out by the food that by the food that is hurting you. So it may sound confusing, but just switch up the food if your body doesn't like it. So if it doesn't like, white rice, switch it to quinoa or sweet potato. Or if it doesn't like almond butter, eat an avocado and try and see if that makes it so that it's better on your stomach. So, I mean, that's kind of how it goes with that. And that's kind of my spiel on the outlining and the different things, but I'll get a little bit farther into, like, specifics in this video. But so, like I said, for fighters, so this is where I'll get a little bit more specific. For a fighter, like I said, let's use 10 weeks as an example. I'll start with a maintenance diet. I'll start with a maintenance number of carbohydrate, and then the protein and the fat, I kind of keep the same the whole program. I don't move them unless it's too much for somebody, and then I'll lower them down, whatever they're feeling. So, like, I generally stick protein, at 1 gram to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. And that's what you should be intaking on a daily basis. And then carbs, like I said before, it goes off of your training, how you're feeling, recovery, your energy levels, whatever that may be. That's kind of how I've always gauged where I set carbs for a fighting diet specifically. Like I said, this is just for a fighting diet. Different for other skill sets. Everybody's different. It may not work for certain people, but it is, from the people that I have helped, this is what has helped them. And then fat, has always been lower. So like 0.25 grams times your body weight. I've always thought that that was an ideal number. Not too much, not too little. Getting the right amount of nutrient in your body. And this is where I get a little bit of debate, because people that do the keto diet, like, keto diet is 60 to 70% fat, within your calorie count during the day. So, I mean, that's a whole different story. So, I mean, won't get into that very much. But, okay, so we'll use the 10 weeks as an example here. Start with the maintenance amount. So let's use fighter A as an example. Let's say his or her maintenance amount is 100 grams of carbohydrate, and then 150 grams of protein and 50 grams of fat. Let's just put it there. So let's say it's a 10-week camp. So within the 10 weeks, when it comes to my weight training programs, I use periodization training, I kind of tweak with it. There's different phases of training that you use, different phases of training that you do within the fight camp. I mean, your body has to adapt to certain things within a fight camp in order to be at optimal, performance. So, but that's not what this video is about. So we're going to talk about, so let's say it's at 100 grams of carbs, maintenance. So you'll go 6 weeks. Within the 10 weeks, 6 weeks at that maintenance number that you choose, that you think that will make it so that, or off of your feeling that you think you can kind of, get all your workouts in during the day, feel good, recover properly, or all of those things. You have your maintenance, or let's say it's 100 grams. So we'll do that for 6 weeks. And then after the 6 weeks is up, we're now 4 weeks out from from weigh-ins. So what I do, especially the last one with Mihaela specifically, you're at 100 grams coming into week 4. Every week after that, I'll drop at 25 grams. Yes, you're still training hard, but you're 4 weeks out. So it'll help when you drop carbs slowly. It helps you slowly lose the weight instead of losing 15 to 20 pounds all in 2 days. I never understood, I understand what they're doing, but I don't understand why they put their body through that much anguish. Like, it could be slower, a slower amount of weight coming off the body, like each week, by just dropping carbs simply 25 grams. So like week 4, you'll drop to 75. Week 3, 50. Week 2, 2 weeks out, 25. And then 1 week out, fight week, you're at 0 grams of carbs, but you've already put in all the work. So, I mean, you're at 0 grams of carbs, but fight week is like the week most people want to make weight. So you're just fine tuning your skills and fine tuning whatever's going on. So the 0 grams of carbs isn't really going to make any difference during that week. I mean, you might feel a little sluggish on week 3 and week 2 because now you're technically in ketosis. So you're under your 50 grams of carbs are under. So you're a lower carb count, but your body will adapt to it as the week goes on. It's not like you'll stay feeling like that for the whole week. Like, your body will get used to that carb count, and you need to make weight, and you'll lose it slower if you just cut carbs out slightly every week the last 4 weeks. It's just, I've found with most of the people that I've done it with, they feel so much better during, like, most of the karate competitors and Mihaela specifically as a fighter, with her last MMA fight and all of the other karate stuff that she's done over the years, that cutting her that way has made her feel better during weigh-ins, while everybody else is sitting there droopy and sluggish because they just cut 15 pounds in a day. She feels good because her body has adapted to being lower in carbohydrate for the last, 3 weeks or whatever it is, 3 or 4 weeks. So, I mean, it helps the body kind of adapt to being at that low weight instead of having to cut all that weight in one day and then, you go and snarf your face with a bunch of food afterwards. I also have a very big problem with that myself. Yes, you need to replenish your glycogen stores, and you need to replenish your energy, but I am a big reverse dieting person. Like, I believe that yes, you should be getting your nutrients back in your body and your fluids back in your body, but I don't think that it should be through, junk and treats and things like that. I always tell, the karate competitors or Mihaela that save the treats until after the fight is over. Then you can eat, as much as you want the next day, and then or the day after the fight, or after the fight in general, and then the next day we have to get back on track with reverse dieting, or with getting back to dieting in general. So, I mean, I've kind of been like pretty strict with a lot of my clients on, after the weight cut type of thing. I don't believe in heavy duty like amounts of junk going into the body, but that's just my opinion. Everybody does things differently, and some people have had success being able to do it that way, and other people have not. So, I mean, so that's kind of how it is. And I call it, my name for this is called the drop down method. So we'll kind of sum it up again for everybody, that if I was spieling or I was going off track here and there. So you'll start with a maintenance amount of carbs. Let's say it's 100 grams and it's a 10-week camp. You go down from week 10 to week 4. You just stay at 100 grams. Then when you get to week 4, each week after that, you drop 25 grams until you hit 0. Well, let's say you're at 150, or each week, let's say it's 150. It's the same process. You start at 150, you do that for, 6 weeks, and then you drop it like a whole number for the last 4 weeks, every week, until it gets to 0. And then the last week of fight week. And then when it gets to 0, then, your body will then be adapted to having lower carbs, and your weight cut will be way smoother. So that's kind of what called the drop down method. That's kind of where I wanted to go with that. Sorry, the video is so sporadic. I'm just getting used to making videos. So it's a little bit different and it's a little bit longer. But along with the dropping of the carbs comes water dieting, supplementation, things like that. So what I'm going to kind of go over next is the water dieting that I use for the karate competitors and MMA fighters that I've helped in the past. So the week before the fight. So I always say, weigh-ins are usually on Friday. I always say the Saturday before the fight. So the Saturday before the fight is when you should start your water diet. I call it a water diet. Some people call it, a water weight cut, whatever it may be. But so on Saturday, I mean, a lot of the time I do. So, like, for example, with Mihaela the last time, we'll say on Saturday she did 1.5 gallons of water. And then on Sunday she did 1.5 gallons of water. So I take the first 2 days to load the body full of water. And then each day after that, I cut a little bit of water out until you're 24 hours out from the fight. So let's say I'll do 1.5 Saturday, 1.5 Sunday. Then I'll do 1 gallon on Monday. And then, 3/4 gallon on Tuesday, 1/2 gallon on Wednesday, 1/4 gallon on Thursday, and then weigh-ins are on Friday. So with that 1/4 gallon, what you're going to do is you're going to, 24 hours before the weigh-ins, you stop drinking water. So it'll be 24 hours before, it'll be, you can have sips of water when you feel like you really need to have sips of water. You can suck on ice chips every now and then, but I always say you start here, you water load the first couple of days, Saturday and Sunday, drop the water slowly, just the same as the carbs, until you get to Thursday, 24 hours out from fight or from weigh-ins. Let's say weigh-ins are at 7. You stop at 7 p.m. on Thursday drinking water. You also stop at 7 p.m. on Thursday eating food. No more food and no more water. And then this is where the extreme kind of measures for a lot of fighters come in. For me, I've had it where some of the people that I've been helping are like are 9 pounds over the night before because it was a last minute fight, and I've had some people that are only 2 pounds over the night before, which is really ideal. So, I mean, the people that are 9 pounds over, it takes a little bit more. God, sorry, I got an itch. Takes a little bit more extreme measures than somebody that's only 2 to 3 pounds over. So, kind of what I'm going to do is talk about those things that I do the night before a fight. And this isn't like, yes, everybody's different, and sometimes and it could work for you, it could not. But like I said, this has been a good track record for me and a lot of the people that I've helped in the past. And I get a lot of, like, Mihaela looks fantastic. Like, how did she get that way? Well, she got that way by, doing what I tell or what I say, kind of, and, doing what I say and following a program similar to this. I mean, I'm not going to give out exactly what she does, but like a program similar to how this program is. But so night before the fight, okay. So we'll talk about. I call them tips and tricks. So I wrote it down. I got notes here, so I can remember everything I want to talk about. So I call them tips and tricks. To lose the last bit of weight, water weight, whatever it is, but the night before the fight. So first of all, we'll start with the sauna, cardio and sauna. So the last 24, you should be doing cardio the whole entire, fight camp. That's a given. If you're a fighter, you need to be in shape. You should be doing cardio no matter what. The week of the fight, I mean, your cardio should be lighter. Like I have Mihaela, she'll do a stair stepper or, light jog on the treadmill, or like just to break a sweat, or bunch of pad work, or hit the bag, at a moderate pace, just to break a sweat. That's basically what I'm getting at. You want to break a sweat. So, but you don't want to overexert yourself because you don't have any water in your body. Let's go back a little bit. Overexerting yourself is probably going to happen anyways, but you don't want to do it to where it affects your fight, on Saturday. So you'll, do cardio to sweat. You'll hit pads to sweat. And it's just to get off that last bit of water weight that you need to get off of, or that you need to get off. So like last fight with Mihaela, she only had 3 pounds left to lose, or 2 pounds left to lose the night before. So it really wasn't rough. Unlike a karate tournament 6 months ago when she had 9 pounds to lose the night before the weigh-ins at the karate tournament. So, which was a little bit more extreme of things that we had to do. So first, let's talk about cardio. Like I said, light cardio. That's basically all you really need to do. Sauna. So what I do with the sauna is I do 15 minutes in the sauna, and it should be a sauna that's hot, pretty hot. And then you do 5 minutes out of the sauna, and we have a 24-hour membership. So when we go in the sauna, when we come out, you're in the swimming pool, so it's colder. So you go in and out of the sauna. So 15 minutes in, 5 minutes out, 15 minutes in, 5 minutes out. So those are 20-minute intervals. You should do them for a minimum of 1 hour. So 2 to 3 pounds in a 1 hour interval, you should be under the weight by the time you're done. So after the 1 hour, if you can, check after every 20-minute interval your body weight. But if you can't, do a minimum of an hour, in and out, in and out. Make sure somebody's there with you, because, or, stand by with water or, whatever it may be, because that is kind of a way that could, over stress the body and cause some dehydration. So you really want to be careful with that. This is not like medical advice or anything that has to do with, this is just kind of how we do it. Not recommending that anybody do this extreme thing, but this is what I've done in the past, kind of to give everybody kind of an idea of how our fight camps go, or our fight camp goes from this standpoint. And then she'll do that, or she'll do that. We'll be done. She's underneath the if she's underneath the weight, we go home. We don't need to do anything else, besides what I'm going to talk about next. But really don't need to do anything else. You're underweight. You're ready to, you're underweight the night before. You're good to go. You should be coming home, resting, keeping your cortisol levels down. That's important. Your stress levels, watch some TV, read a book, do whatever you got to do. Let's say that you're done with the hour and you're not underweight yet. And let's say we use the extreme version where you're 9 pounds over. You do the hour and you still have, 5 pounds left. Well, you're going to have to, I always say, stay in the sauna until you're at weight, or maybe a pound over. And then when you're done, because I don't like to extend the sauna past, a certain point. So like, I think that being in there for too long is very bad on your body. So I'll kind of gauge it off ask how the person's feeling coming in and out of the sauna. So, I mean, if they're not feeling very good, then I will definitely cut them off of the sauna and we'll move on to plan B, and my plan B is a hot Epsom salt bath. I would say 10 to 15 minutes, as hot as you can take it. So dump Epsom salt in the bathtub, 10 to 15 minutes, hot as you can go. Have somebody in there with you as well, because it also is taxing on your body. But 10 to 15 minutes there, if you can't do the sauna anymore, give that a go. 10 minutes if you just don't think that you can handle it anymore, which, you should be okay. But in my experience, everybody's been good, coming in and out of the sauna and doing an Epsom salt bath. So then you do the Epsom salt bath, and at that time you should be a pound over or on weight. And from my experience in the past with fighters, they're a pound over or they're on weight. So next, after that, what I do is I recommend, so with Mihaela specifically, we open up, again, now that it's winter, it's easier. We open up the window and we sleep in a cold room. So a cold room, it's not, I can't bring up studies and whatnot, but from a lot of the stuff that I've researched and read in the past, cold rooms increase your metabolism throughout the night and are better for you, because while your metabolism is increasing during the night, you're also, burning calories, which in turn burns weight, keeps your body from putting on that extra water retention overnight. So the metabolism speeding up and everything, and you burning more calories, is because your body gets cold, so it tries to heat itself back up. So the whole night your body's getting cold, it's trying to heat itself back up, getting cold, heating itself back up. So you're continuing to burn calories and your metabolism is staying high because your body's working throughout the night while you're sleeping. Your body is always working while you're at rest too, but this is increasing the work so that you can keep the weight off that you took off, and possibly lose a couple of pounds overnight and get underneath the weight so that you're not stressing about it the next day. My thing is, if you wake up the next morning and you're a pound or two above, you go back to square one. You go to the gym, wherever you go. You get on a stair stepper and do a little bit of cardio that morning, and you go in the sauna for just a little bit longer. And you try and drop those couple of pounds, and then you just keep your stress levels down, and then mosey on to the weight, or to weigh-ins, and you should be on weight. You should be good to go. You should feel good. Should be ready to fight the next day. And then, like I said earlier, supplement-wise, so I don't use the trick unless I absolutely have to, because some people struggle to make to do the water, or to cut the last bit of weight the last couple of weeks. And if I know this person does and they have a track record of this happening, I'll use this trick. So supplement out there called dandelion root, herbal. It's an herbal diuretic. So what you do is let's say you're way behind 2 weeks out because you got a last minute fight or you were just, lazy, which I hope is not the case. You take 3 pills or 1 serving of the dandelion root a week out. Like I said, this isn't medical advice. I'm not a doctor, but this is something that we've done in the past. You take 3 pills, 2 weeks out. Take 3 pills once a day. Natural diuretic to help you sweat more, push more water out of your body. And then the week of the fight, you'll take 3 pills twice a day. So 3 pills in the morning, 3 pills at night. Herbal diuretic, it will continue to push the water out of your body that you need pushed out slowly so that it's not all at one time. And dandelion root is also a good liver aid, so it's not liver and kidneys, so it's not taxing on your organs. You have something you're putting in your body that actually can hold up and is a natural remedy to liver and kidney damage from diuretic use. So dandelion root has saved a lot of my karate client people that have gotten 2-week notice, 3-week notice from missing weight. So like I said, dandelion root is a last minute trick. Text message. Last minute trick. Use it if you want. Use it if you don't, or don't use it if you don't want to. Just something that I've thought was a really nifty trick that I've learned over the past time that I've done this kind of stuff. So all right, let's look back over my notes, see what else I got for you guys. Yeah. So last thing, optimal digestion. Maybe. Yeah, optimal digestion. So, when it comes to digestion, I always recommend that you do this 1 time a day. I felt that it helped my clients digest food better throughout the day. You do it twice a day if you want, 1 time in the morning and 1 time at night, if that helps you. That's just how it goes. So my optimal digestion program is a serving of apple cider vinegar. Do it in the morning and night, or just in the morning, just at night, whatever you prefer, with glutamine or organic superfood greens. I add into it. I just put it in a glass and put water in it and mix it up. Does not taste good at all, but I have found that it definitely helps with my digestion throughout the day. And then lately, I've been putting all of those ingredients in my protein shake in the morning. It's a lot easier because then it's all just in one shake, with some kale or spinach, and then I add some cinnamon to the protein for the shake for heart functioning purposes and taste. It just tastes better that way. So, like I said before, this is a really long video, and bear with me if it's all over the place because I'm not very good at making videos. So, reason why I haven't done it in the past, just because I haven't really known how to structure them, and they'll get better structurally the more comfortable I get in front of a video camera. So, if you guys have any more questions or anything, go on to my Instagram page, T-Loss Fitness, and send me a DM, or you can send me an email at taylorloss33@gmail.com. Either way, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them over to me, and follow my social media pages, because I'm going to start making more videos about different topics and things to help a wide variety of people. I just mostly stuck with the fighter one because that's the most questions I've gotten in the past, or ever since Mahaila's last fight, was different diets or a different approach to dieting for fighters and weight cuts, because of the way that I structure things and I go about things are just a little bit different than the traditional way. So I hope this was helpful, and thank you guys for listening.